Hi, I'm Dave Scott. I'd like to talk about a really great drill that you can do on land and also in the ATV. And it's double arm, half butterfly pull. Well, why do that? If I'm doing freestyle, what do I want to do with this half butterfly pull? Well, the reason is the front end of freestyle looks kind of like that. Put both arms together, we have a high elbow set. And this is what we're practicing with the stretch cords, and you'll see that if you get a high elbow set, you're doing it properly and not a dropped elbow, which I see a lot of people doing in freestyle. So take a look at this video. I think it will be a big help for you. The half butterfly pull, Lisa, is one of the key movements to really replicate the front end of freestyle. And I like this as a teaching tool just to get that front end of the stroke, which is really the critical part of setting up the entire stroke. So when we do this, we're almost looking like a butterfly pull, but if we take away one arm, it's freestyle. So why don't you get in a position. We're going to bend over at the hips, draw the belly in nice and tight. Back is relatively square, so we don't want to make sure our shoulders are rotated, internally rotated, and you have a really nice position. So go ahead and let's set that elbow and pull back underneath your shoulder line. So in this position right here, the elbow is real high, and we're seeing forearm vertical, and the wrist is almost in a neutral position, straight down from that joint line. One thing to think about is that if I put an eyeball right on Lisa's elbow, that eyeball is looking out towards the side. So I'll show you the difference. Come forward again, Lisa. And now go ahead and let your elbow collapse where that eyeball now is looking down towards the bottom. And let's do an inferior pull. Go ahead and pull back. Elbow kind of drops. And we can see the elbow kind of sag in. Hands are turned in. This is just dreadful. So let's do it right again. So go ahead and set that elbow and pull back. Eyeball now is looking out. Joint line right underneath. And it's a half butterfly pull, which is really the setup on freestyle. So that looks just perfect. Lisa, in this segment, we've got you tethered on the back end just to anchor your hips so you don't pull yourself forward. And it works really nicely. But we can replicate the front end of freestyle by doing a double arm paddle stretch cord pull. And this is really looking at freestyle, but it's a half butterfly pull with the stretch cord. It's a pretty short motion, and why don't you give a demo? Good, and so we're just pulling just underneath the shoulder line. The hands start together close to the surface, and let's stop right there. So on the finish point on this, we can make a couple corrections. This is one thing that, as you're practicing this, we want to keep those fingers and wrist joint line in line with the elbow. In other words, we don't want the wrist inflection like that, where our fingers have too much pressure on the paddle surface. So you've got perfect position right there. Let's do one more. So elbow set on the beginning and right through. And again, this is really critical on that front end that we get that high elbow set, and you're doing it really well. We take away one arm, which we will, then we've got freestyle.